Right now at noon, bomb threats called into state capitals across the country, causing mass evacuations. The scene playing out this morning in Frankfort, Kentucky. Secretary of State Michael Adams said he and other lawmakers received threats via email. An increased police presence continues there at the Capitol. Governor Beshear tweeted everyone is safe as state police investigate. Over in Mississippi, officials said a bomb threat forced them to block off several streets near the Capitol. And in Georgia, a threat made there around 8 o'clock this morning. Now in the clear, but still asking people to avoid the area. We'll keep you up to date here with what's going on in Frankfort as it becomes available. Well, just hours from now, Governor Beshear will deliver his annual State of the Commonwealth address in Frankfort. He's expected to outline his legislative priorities for the new year while discussing what's worked over the last 4. Some of those successes include getting sports betting and medical marijuana legalized through bipartisan efforts. The past 4 years have seen a lot of investment in Kentucky, like the Blue Oval SK battery plant in Glendale. Lawmakers helped secure major infrastructure projects like expanding broadband internet, securing funding for I-69, the Brent Spence Bridge, and the Mountain Parkway. We already know infrastructure improvements will be a key priority this year. Well, you will be able to watch that State of the Commonwealth live here on WHAS11.com or on the WHAS11 app, thanks to KET. Lawmakers are back to work in Frankfort for another day. It's a budget year that's expected to address education and violent crime, among other high-profile and high-priority issues, like teacher pay raises and the possibility of splitting up JCPS. Our senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton asked lawmakers about these in Frankfort.
Senate President Robert Stiver says Republican leadership is seriously looking into the potential of splitting up JCPS. Now, while the discussions themselves aren't new, the transportation issues we've seen appear to be a big motivator here in 2024. As Kentucky lawmakers concluded a procedural day one of this year's budget session, questions loom over which big-ticket items will pass and whether studies looking into JCPS's feasibility as a district of nearly 100,000 students will lead to dividing it.
There needs to be some serious discussion as to what happens to JCPS.
So it's seriously being looked into for this session. It's an effort Democrats like State Senator Gerald Neal of Louisville are already chalking up as misguided.
When you split something up in a community, you run the risk of splitting your community. You run the risk of disproportionately bringing value to one part of the community as to the other.
Then comes the question of where the Kentucky governor and GOP leaders will meet eye to eye in their agendas. Beshear telling me in a sit-down interview before Christmas that wages are a factor in losing teachers to neighboring states like Tennessee. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Kentucky Senate President Robert Stivers also said the governor's plan to attract and retain teachers in the Commonwealth is one he agrees with.
But we also need to talk about what is necessary to keep and attract teachers here. And
how do you?
Well, one of the things will be pay and look at compensation. The other is workplace environment.
Is 11% crazy?
Well, it depends on how we have to do this in the budget and how you do it.
And other Republican leaders have been stuck to the state's current funding model for public schools, calling the SEEK formula and letting local school districts decide how to divvy up that money. However, Beshear wants to earmark funds specifically to be used for raises in every county. The decision to remove longtime Clarksville Police Chief Mark Palmer is creating some turmoil in southern Indiana. The move has garnered heavy criticism from some council members and people in the community. Our Alex Dieterer and photojournalist Addie Hill explain.
And I'm on the council now, and I will keep talking because I don't think that you should be interrupting me.
In a packed room of 100 people, a tense night in the town of Clarksville, Indiana. In a 4-3 vote, the council named a new Clarksville police chief.
My pleasure to introduce and let you know that the next police chief for the town of Clarksville will be Nathan Walls.
After 12 years as police chief, Mark Palmer will be replaced by Captain Nathan Walls, a decision that's caused tense disagreement between council members.
All those in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
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 I'm absolutely a no due to this is so unbelievable of this council.
No specific reason for the replacement is being given, except that it's routine politics to replace chiefs with new administration.
And we've got a job to do. when you get down to it, we're tasked with protecting this town. So all the things going on in the background, all the political things, all the things going on the internet, I want to be aware of some of that. But my job is to protect this town, and I'm going to lead our department into protecting this town.
Community members also addressed the council, expressing their frustrations with the lack of transparency to why the decision to move Palmer was being made. Alex Dieterer, WHAS11 on your side.
In a statement shared with us, Councilwoman Karen Henderson said, quote, after a review of our police department, it was decided a change in administration was needed. The nature of policing has changed over the decades, and a fresh perspective is needed to improve, hire, and retain qualified people. She also went on to say they are grateful for Chief Palmer's service and look forward to seeing him in his new role. Walls told us there's a pinning ceremony planned for tomorrow. A Kentucky court clerk has been ordered to pay $360,000 for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples years ago. Kim Davis, as you may remember, was jailed for 5 days in 2015 for refusing to issue those licenses in Rowan County. David Armold and David Moore later sued her in federal court. A jury agreed the couple should be paid $100,000 for damages, and a judge just yesterday added another $260,000 for attorney's fees. City inspectors say a Highlands apartment building is structurally stable after a car crashed into it. Take a look there. You can see the car halfway through the building. It knocked out bricks and glass, causing some significant damage. Louisville Metro Police say the crash happened around 10:15 Monday night. Officers found the car empty, but later cited a woman for driving on a suspended license, leaving the scene of a crash and failing to provide insurance.